U.S. President Donald Trump said he will issue an executive order to require voter identification from every voter. The announcement came on the president's Truth Social platform on Saturday. He added that there would be no exceptions to his voter ID order, and that mail-in ballots would be limited to the very ill and military members who are far away. Trump, who continues to falsely claim that his 2020 presidential election loss was the result of widespread fraud, has long questioned the U.S. electoral system. For years, he has called for the end of electronic voting machines, pushing instead for the use of paper ballots and hand counts, a process that election officials say is time-consuming, costly, and far less accurate than machine counting.
We, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots.
Earlier this month, Trump pledged to issue an executive order to end the use of mail-in ballots and voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. However, federal elections are administered at the state level, and it is unclear whether the president has the constitutional power to enact such a measure. In the 2026 midterms, Democrats will be seeking to break the Republicans' grip on both the House of Representatives and the Senate to block Trump's domestic agenda.
Мы широко ценим усилия и предложения Китая.
We value the efforts and propositions to solve the Ukrainian crisis of China, India and other strategic partners of ours. The mutual understanding that was reached at a recent Russia-US summit in Alaska heads the same direction, I hope.
Надеюсь, также идут в этом направлении, открывая дорогу к миру на Украине.
It paves the way to peace in Ukraine, I hope. I will inform my colleagues in more detail on the results of talks in Alaska during our bilateral meetings today and tomorrow.
Подробно о результатах переговоров на
A large buildup of U.S. naval forces in and around the southern Caribbean has officials in Caracas and experts in the U.S. questioning why they've been mobilized. Drone footage on Sunday captured a U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyer docked near the entrance to the Panama Canal. Last week, a U.S. official told Reuters that 7 U.S. warships, as well as a nuclear-powered fast attack submarine, are in or en route to the region, with over 4,500 sailors and Marines. While U.S. Coast Guard and Navy ships often operate in the southern Caribbean, this military buildup surpasses normal levels. U.S. President Donald Trump has said combating drug cartels is a central goal for his administration, and U.S. officials have told Reuters that the military efforts aim to address threats from those cartels. But it is unclear how the U.S. military presence would disrupt the drug trade. Most seaborne drug traffic to the U.S. moves via the Pacific, not the Atlantic where the U.S. forces are. Caribbean shipments largely arrive by clandestine flights. Venezuelan officials believe their government might be the real target. Venezuelan Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino issued a warning to the U.S. on Sunday.
Le digo yo a los imperialistas del norte, nosotros estamos preparándonos.
I'm speaking to the imperialists of the north. We're getting ready and we will fight if you dare set foot in Venezuela. We're watching events around the world.
Nosotros estamos observando los acontecimientos en el mundo.
In early August, the United States doubled its reward to $50 million for information leading to the arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro over allegations of drug trafficking and links to criminal groups. Venezuelan officials have said the U.S. is threatening the country with naval deployments in violation of international treaties and dismissed U.S. claims that the country and its leadership are key to major international drug trafficking.
Slowly, every day, more and more people are waking up and seeing more of the absolute atrocities, the genocide, the mass slaughtering that Israel is committing. And the question here today is not why we are sailing. This story is not at all about the mission that we are about to embark. The story here is about Palestine. The story here is how people are being deliberately deprived of the very basic means to survive.
What sort of a world have we slid into? What sort of a human hole have we found ourselves in? And Western governments should have made these boats unnecessary to be making this trip. And the fact that you guys are here and the flotilla is happening is an indication of the world's failure to uphold international law and humanitarian law. And it is a shameful period in the history of our world.
Shares in Samsung and rival SK Hynix took a hit Monday after news of new US curbs on chip making. Washington has revoked permissions that allowed them to obtain US manufacturing gear for their plants in China. The move will take effect 120 days after an official notice late last week and could have a big impact on the South Korean giants. Analysts estimate around a third of their output of some types of memory chips is based in China. And the pair had previously relied on exemptions to sweeping US curbs on the export of chip-related gear to the country. In a statement last week, the US Commerce Department said it wouldn't stop the tech firms working in China, but would not grant licenses to upgrade or expand in the country. Samsung shares were down close to 3% by mid-afternoon Monday, with SK Hynix off about 5%. Samsung declined to comment on the news, while SK Hynix said it would maintain close contact with Washington and Seoul and do all it could to minimize the impact of the change. One analyst said the firms could limit the effects in the short term. He says the pair have both mainly planned to develop new production lines in their home country, while maintaining China operations as they are.
A 19-year-old TikToker who goes by the name of Susie L. Ordonia has been jailed in Egypt since August 2nd. She faces charges of distributing indecent content and money laundering. She's just one of dozens of teenage TikTokers detained by Egyptian authorities in recent weeks on accusations ranging from violating family values to laundering money. For some, prosecutors have imposed travel bans, asset freezes, and confiscated devices. The Egyptian Initiative for Personal Rights earlier this month urged authorities to halt a, quote, aggressive security campaign. Lobna Darwish is a lawyer for the organization.
This is a case of control over society and over its image and its discourse as a whole. We've reached a stage where it is thorough. It's not just about specific topics, but about everything.
Critics say the crackdown fits into a broader effort by the state to police speech and codify conduct in a country where social media has long served as one of the few alternatives to traditional media largely controlled by the state. And lawyers say indecency laws are vague. Susie, who has some 9.4 million followers, said she may have agitated, cursed, or told a bad joke in some videos, but said it was, quote, not meant to teach the younger generation to follow suit.